Boom, what is up? This is Jason J. Boom Legaard, facing that 107 degrees for you with another episode of Selfie of Success, where we're taking you out of distress into success. And this particular episode is I'm answering a question I posed, saying, hey, what do you guys want to hear from me today? And my brother, Vidal Cisneros Jr., a fellow entrepreneur, and he posed an interesting question. He said, hey, what's your most empowering movies and why? And so I went for a little walk here and came on back, and I actually came up with 4 I'm going to share with you and give you my reasons. And they cover a lot of different spectrums, so you might think my tastes are a little all over the map, but guess what? To me, that's what makes a life full and enjoyable, and that's part of the adventure, is you learn from all kinds of different sources. First one out the gate would be The Pursuit of Happyness, starring Will Smith. What makes that one, I think, extra powerful for me is it's based on an actual true story. And there's just something about what I love how that movie and that story, how it plays out, is you're so invested in him as the father, striving to break out of a continually seems to be worse and worse situation. Plus, he's taking care of his son. He's being an incredible father along the way as he pursues his dream. And for me, it's such an empowering movie is towards the end when, so spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but there's just the way he shows gratitude for the journey. I've seen the movie probably at least 6 times. It brings tears to my eyes every time I watch that movie, because it's so real, and Will Smith just nails it. I mean, utterly just knocks it out of the park. Number 2 on the list, this sort of go on a different end of the spectrum, Rocky 4, baby, the one where he takes on Ivan Drago. I must break you. And you're thinking, dude, first of all, it's a Rocky movie, but it's not even the first one. It's the 4th one, which is just a ridiculous level, as far as the training out in the Siberian winters, and Drago's on steroids and all this stuff. And of course, the ending fight is utterly ridiculous. I mean, those guys would be so dead after like 2 rounds of the amount of punishment. Doesn't matter. The cheesy factor doesn't matter. It just gets me so amped, and it gives me that feeling every time I watch it. When he wins that fight, he's literally given everything physically, spiritually, mentally he has within himself, and he proves to everyone, look, I took down the giant. And I think that relates to a lot of things in life. So Rocky 4 is the second one. Number 3, Braveheart. This movie, so many levels, one of my all-time favorites, easily in my top 5 all-time of every movie. And there's just something about that story of William Wallace that's just so pure. And I remember as far as purity, what I mean by is like a love that he had for the woman, the love of his life from when he was a child, and it carries through the years when he returns home, and then to have that purity taken away, and along with his freedom, and how like that's the spark. And I remember the first time I saw that movie with my best friend Derek. We saw it here in Tempe, down on Arizona Mills. We were both literally in tears as the ending credits roll. It just moved us so deeply, and we said like, need a minute? And he's like, yeah. And we sat there, let the credits roll. We start walking back to our apartment at the time. We didn't speak for like 20 minutes. And then finally, as we hit the 20-minute mark, one of us, can't remember which one of us, said a expletive that starts with F. And just like, oh, like, whoa, dude. And then we just talked for like 3 hours straight about this movie. There's, again, a lot of that's based in history as well, so it makes it more powerful. So Braveheart, definitely way up there, and it's empowering on just so many different levels. Like I said, it's one of my top 5 all time. And this last one actually snuck up on me even as I just started to hit record. And it's not really a movie that, like Rocky 4 or Braveheart or Pursuit of Happyness, those are ones you can actually watch over and over and be inspired and be empowered. This one is really more like a single viewing because it's so intense, and it's not really like a repeat value type movie, is The Passion of the Christ. And when I saw that film, I remember, it's just ridiculously intense if you haven't seen it. But here was the interesting point that I wanted to share with all of you, in regards to why this is such an empowering movie for myself, is that take away whether you're Christian or not, whatever your faith is, or even lack of faith. You could be an atheist. I don't really care about where you're coming from in regards to this film. I thought to myself after I watched it, is just watching this story of a man that literally gave everything for what his purpose was in this world. So even just looking at it from that standpoint of like, here's a guy that endured to the point of just, until death and beyond. And it was like, so just even like I said, taking away religion, taking out faith, and just looking at it as like, would any one of us give every single ounce of our being for what we knew was true, was righteous, was love, was joy, was purpose? And that's why that's number 4 for me. Just looking at it almost from a logical standpoint, not from emotion, not from faith. Just, would I have given what he gave for something that I believed in? And to go all the way. All the way. So those are my 4, at least in this instance, those are my 4 empowering films, and why. So hopefully you get some value out of that. If you have not seen those films, go rent them. Probably get them on Netflix, Hulu, whatever. Buy them. Probably get them extra cheap now. They're older movies. If you have seen them, watch them again. I've watched almost all those movies multiple times, and there's always something you can refuel from and get that empowerment from just throwing in an excellent DVD. So with that, this is Jason J. Boom, Legaard, Selfie of Success, baby. It's time to get inside of that air conditioning. I'm going to catch you on the next episode. Boom.